Welcome to the Grounded Path. Tools down, soul on. The podcast where we step away from the noise, the pressure, and the hustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Your soul, your purpose, your peace. I'm Emma Muir, your alignment guide, here to share honest conversations, stories, and practical tools for men in construction and other high-pressure industries who want to lead with heart, find balance, and live fully aligned. Each week, we'll explore how to put your tools down, quieten the mind, and turn your attention inward so you can show up grounded, clear, and ready to walk your path with strength and soul. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get grounded together. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's put your tools down, just while you're listening. Take another deep breath and feel yourself grounding into your body. Just this alone helps me shift from that rushing through the day to clarity, to presence, and to placing my attention exactly where I want it to be. So, what does peace actually mean? For me, peace is when your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are in alignment. Real peace comes from deep self-awareness, self-love, and self-respect. It's really about being able to breathe into each moment of your life with inner calm, that clarity of mind, and the ability to lead in all areas of your life, and particularly leading from within, from a really grounded place. Peace does not mean peace doesn't mean that your life is perfect and easy. It doesn't mean that you stop feeling anything. And it definitely doesn't mean you have to stuff all your thoughts and emotions down to appear calm and collected. Because if you need the world around you to be a certain way in order for you to feel peace, my friends, that is not peace, that is control. True peace, like real true peace, is the ability to stay calm, stay present, communicate clearly, make calm, conscious choices. Even when you feel like life's being a bit tricky and not really fucking playing along very well. So I'm going to pause here. Let's pause here for a second and want to ask you something. Where in your life can you see that you're trying to control a situation or a relationship just so you can feel okay? No one else has to know this. You've got your headphones on, you might be listening in a car, you're going for a run, whatever it is. No one else has to know. So, you know what? Just be real. Just be honest with yourself right now, in this moment. Where in your life are you trying to control a situation or relationship just so you can feel okay? You got it? Got the answer? Maybe you need a bit more time. And so I'm going to share with you a man that I worked with, and he had spent years trying to control two things in his life: time and perception. So this client had worked in a really high profile public role and he got fired. Not because he'd failed, not because he didn't do his job incredibly well, but because he did his job so well that others were exposed. And he became the scapegoat. Now I can already hear the voices. I can already hear the comments, the voices, the thoughts going on in your head. Well, toughen up. Stop playing the victim. Move on. But here's the thing that was amazing to learn, and really what only a few people know. And because of the work we did together, I'm privileged to know this. Because of the contract he'd signed, and he had to sign for the work that he did, he wasn't allowed to speak about what happened. He couldn't clear his name, couldn't share his side. He had left, or been forced to leave, a career he'd spent 20 years building. And I know for many of you, you can feel that. That's not a small thing to walk away from or have to walk away from. Yes, he may have been compensated well, but did that fix the damage? No, it didn't fix the damage. In fact, I'm pretty sure he didn't even know what damage was left for him to deal with. Because let's be honest, most men don't fix any of the damage. They don't even recognize that there is damage to fix. So I just take a deep breath on that one. Because these voices that go on in your head, toughen up, stop playing the victim, move on, that's part of what stops you from seeing it. Now, granted, he was compensated well, and so he had the ability to use the time, and he used the time really well to write a book and create an incredible course based on everything he'd learned throughout those 20 years in this career. But he shared it so small, and he played small with it. And really, you would say he never really shared it. Instead, what he did do is threw himself into this high-stress consultancy work. He was waiting for the perfect time to launch. And you know what? That perfect time clearly wasn't coming. There was no peace, only an incredible amount of pressure. So what was he doing? He was always waiting for the right moment to speak his truth. He was always holding it together for everybody else. And he was willing to go under from stress than deal with what really happened. These were his preferences. So, I kind of met him post maybe 5 or 6 years after this experience had occurred in his life. And when we began working together, we spent 12 months unwinding the layers of stress that he had wrapped around himself so tightly. And this was a completely terrifying process for him, because the fear was, if I let go, I'll fall apart. And that was something that was really, he spoke about consistently in the first few months of us working together. That letting go, that fear of falling apart, the feeling of unraveling. But here's the truth, here's the thing. Did he fall apart? Nope. He did not fall apart. here's what actually happened in that 12 months. He built incredible connections that launched a speaking career. And we can talk about all the things that have to go on and in that. The confidence, the clarity, the calm. In doing that, the ability to connect that way. He finished and published his book. Like, amazing. I can still remember getting the notification of his launch for his book. And he also shared how he was really feeling with the people closest to him. Because not only had he hidden himself from himself, but he'd hidden himself, like his truth, from the people that were closest to him. And I want to say also, most importantly, the biggest thing that occurred for him was he stopped looking for peace outside of himself, and he started building daily practices that helped him experience real peace on the inside. And that, my friends, is an incredible gift in itself when you choose that. And not everybody's going to, but I promise you, if you do, it has the biggest rewards that you'll ever experience in your life. So I want to give you a grounded tool. Let's bring it back to you. So what experience have you, let me rephrase that. What experience from your past are you still holding on to? And I want you to think about how it's connected to the something you're trying to control in your life. Because there is. There is definitely a connection in there. Think about the impact that it's having on your work, your business, your relationships. What does it stop you from doing? Like, just hold on to that for a second. A situation experience from your past that you're still holding on to. Have you got that? You've got that. And you're starting to see the connection that is occurring, that's in your life right now, and in something that you're trying to control. And it's got an impact. What's it stopping you from doing? And it's stopping you from doing something. Because I'm going to lay the truth down here. Like, let's just, take a deep breath. Like, are you ready for it? Here is the truth. You're holding on to a story and an experience that no longer belongs in your present life. Just take a minute. Take a minute. Take a deep breath. Take a knee. And let that land. Because go back to my client's story. And the facts are that it happened 5 or 6 years before. It had no relevance in his present current life, in the career that he'd moved into, in what he was creating, and what he wanted to build for himself, in the passion that he wanted to follow. Zero. And neither does yours. Now, this isn't going to change overnight. It's not going to just woo, bang, all that life that happened doesn't just go away. So it's not click your fingers, overnight success, because you've been holding on to this, and you may have been holding on to this for years. But this awareness that you're growing, that you're choosing, changes everything. Like everything. Self-awareness changes everything. But here's what to do when the old story shows up again. Because it will show up again, I promise you. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to pause before you react like you always have reacted. And then I want you to ask yourself, what do I want to do differently this time? And go back to the start of that. Take a deep breath. Are you going to react in the same way that you've always reacted? That pause that you're giving yourself is everything. It's where you find choice. It's where you find the ability to choose. That pause, that breath brings you back, grounding into your body, just like we did at the start of the episode. And that right there is powerful. Go back to your old story. Have a look at your reaction again. This is all happening within you. You're not saying all of this out loud. No one knows what's going on in the moment of you taking a breath and thinking, oh yeah, I normally always do shout. I normally always do not say anything. I always normally do this, that. You're getting to know yourself. Self-awareness is everything. And that pause is powerful. And no one else has to see it. No one knows what's going on within you. However, if you want peace, your actions need to change. Your thoughts need to change. Your feelings need to change. You might be feeling something about a current situation that's related to this other one that has nothing to do with it. So you get to choose what you would do differently this time. Because that choice, that deepening of your awareness, that's where peace begins. It's not found in perfection. I tried for many years to be perfect, to feel like I had control over everything. And, I will over time share all the little pieces, like what, I find funny now, even down to how I folded my clothing. And granted, there is some relevance to that, like, how things fit in wardrobes and, I like things to be neat. And because there's a sense of calmness when things have their own place, everything has a place, and that actually allows your mind to be calm. When you've got chaos around you, it's harder to find calm, when you've just got piles and piles of stuff. So, like there are some funny things in the way that I tried to have things perfect in my life. And even me, how I showed up. And I'm sure that you can relate to some of that. Having things on the outside look perfect or look a particular way. It's not found in perfection. Peace is never found in it. Peace is cultivated through self-awareness, self-love, and self-respect. I'm going to leave it there. Enjoy that practice. And I would love to hear from you in the comments how you're finding that breath, that pause, choosing the new way. I would love for you to share, what are the new choices that you're making? Have you uncovered a new awareness? And you'll find all the links in the show details to connect with me, to find out more, to grab your own copy of Path to Peace, an ebook that I have written so that you can take your own path to peace in your own journey. There's also a free taste of peace in there as well, a link, so you can begin with that. Takes this practice a little bit further, add some new other practices in there as well. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me and your energy. I know how valuable your time is and how you spend it matters. Because truthfully, time is the only thing that you have to spend that you can never make again and never get back. Thanks for joining me on the Grounded Path, Tools Down, Soul On. If this episode brought you something valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might need it. For more resources, coaching, or to connect with me, please visit www.emmamuir.com or hit the links in the episode description. Remember, peace starts within. Until next time, keep your tools down and your soul on. Stay grounded and enjoy the peace you're cultivating. Take care for now, Emma.